What would you do if the person you trusted most was lying to you? And their own smartwatch proved it. It was 2:17 a.m. in our apartment on West 57th Street in Manhattan. The city outside was quiet in that rare way New York gets. Just the hum of distant traffic and a siren miles away. My wife, Lauren, was asleep beside me, her breathing slow and steady, her hand resting near the edge of the mattress. Her smartwatch lit up, just for a second, a soft green glow. I wasn't trying to snoop. I swear I wasn't. But the notification stayed there long enough for me to read the words that would break something inside me. Workout complete, 1 hour 12 minutes, Soho. That didn't make sense, because the gym she supposedly went to every night wasn't in Soho. And that was the moment I realized something wasn't just off. Something was rotten, and I had no idea how deep it went. If you genuinely enjoy our stories, please subscribe to the channel, tell us where you're from, and what time it is right now. It's always fascinating to know how far our story flows. At first, I tried to convince myself it was nothing. A glitch. A GPS error. Technology fails all the time, right? But doubt doesn't disappear once it's planted. It grows. Lauren had started going to the gym 6 months earlier. I just want to feel better about myself, she'd said, smiling over her coffee at a diner on 9th Avenue. I supported her. I even paid for her membership. But slowly, things changed. She stayed out later. Stopped asking how my day was. Started locking her phone. And worst of all, she stopped touching me. The first time I asked her about it, she laughed. You're being paranoid, she said, rolling her eyes. Not everything is about you. That word, paranoid, stuck with me. So I started paying attention. Receipts showed up in her purse from places nowhere near her gym. A parking garage ticket on Spring Street. A coffee shop on Lafayette. Places in Soho. I didn't confront her. Not yet. Instead, I waited. A week later, she left again for her workout. I watched from the window as she walked down the street, gym bag slung over her shoulder, heels clicking against the pavement. Heels. Who wears heels to the gym? I gave her a 10-minute head start, then followed. I kept my distance. Blended into the city like everyone else. She turned onto Broadway, then down a quieter side street I didn't recognize. And then she stopped, in front of a modern glass building with a doorman. She smiled at him. He smiled back like he knew her. And then she walked inside. No gym. No workout. Just that building. I stood there across the street, frozen, as the truth started to take shape. But I still didn't know who, or how bad it really was. That night, when she came home, she acted normal. Too normal. How was your workout? I asked. She didn't even hesitate. Brutal, she said, dropping her bag. I'm exhausted. I nodded and smiled. But inside, something cracked. Over the next month, I became someone I didn't recognize. Quiet. Observant. Cold. I checked her smartwatch history when she showered. Every workout traced back to that same building in Soho. Same time. Same duration. Different days. Same lie. I hired a private investigator. Cost me $5,000. Best money I ever spent. 3 days later, he handed me a folder. Photos. Lauren walking into that building. Lauren laughing in the lobby. Lauren kissing a man outside a black sedan parked on Spring Street. The guy looked exactly how you'd expect. Expensive watch. Tailored suit. That smug, effortless confidence of someone who thinks rules don't apply to him. His name was Daniel Mercer. Married. Real estate developer. Owned multiple properties in Soho, including that condo. I didn't cry. I didn't yell. I just sat there in my car in a parking garage on West 4th Street, staring at those photos, and felt something inside me go completely still. That's when I stopped being the husband and started becoming something else. I gathered everything. Bank statements, phone logs, location data. I even synced her smartwatch data to a shared account she didn't know I had access to. Every step she took, every lie she told, it was all there. Then I waited. 2 months. I let her think she was winning. Let her grow colder. Meaner. You've changed, she told me one night. You're distant. I almost laughed, but I just nodded. Work's been stressful. She didn't care enough to ask more. Meanwhile, I met with a lawyer in Midtown. Quiet office. No nonsense. Do you want a divorce? She asked. I slid the folder across the desk. I want her to walk out of this with nothing. The lawyer opened it, looked through the photos, then looked up at me. We can do that. And we did. I set the date carefully. Lauren's birthday. She insisted on throwing a party. Rented out a private room at a restaurant in Soho. Ironically, just a few blocks from Daniel's condo. Friends, co-workers, even her parents flew in from Chicago. Daniel showed up too. That was the best part. Watching him walk in like he belonged there. Like he'd already won. Dinner went on. Drinks flowed. Laughter filled the room. Lauren stood up to give a toast. She smiled. Raised her glass. I'm so grateful for everyone here tonight. That's when I stood up. Actually, I said, my voice cutting through the room. I think we should all be grateful for honesty. The room went quiet. Lauren looked at me, confused. What are you doing? She whispered. I didn't answer. I walked over to the TV screen mounted on the wall and plugged in the USB drive. The first image appeared. Lauren, kissing Daniel. Gasps filled the room. The next image, her entering his condo. Then another. And another. Time-stamped. Location tagged. Undeniable. Lauren's face went pale. Daniel stood up. What the hell is this? This, I said calmly, is your life falling apart. Her parents stared at her in shock. Her co-workers whispered. Phones came out. Lauren rushed toward me. Turn it off. Are you insane? I stepped back. No, I said. I'm done being stupid. She tried to grab the remote. I held it just out of reach. Tell them, I said quietly. Tell them about your workouts. She broke. Right there in front of everyone. Tears. Denials. Excuses. But it was too late. Daniel didn't defend her. He walked out. Coward. Within weeks, everything collapsed. Her job found out. She'd been seeing a client. Fired. Her parents cut contact. Daniel's wife filed for divorce and took half his assets. And Lauren? She got nothing. Because I already had everything lined up. The apartment. The accounts. The evidence. Legally airtight. The last time I saw her was outside the courthouse in Lower Manhattan. She looked smaller. Weaker. Please, she said, her voice shaking. We can fix this. I looked at her for a long moment. And felt nothing. No, I said. You already fixed it. I walked away. Months later, I still think about that night sometimes. Not the betrayal. Not the anger. But the moment everything went quiet inside me. Because that's when I realized something terrifying. I didn't lose her. She lost me long before I ever knew. The end.